Welcome to the No Hangover podcast.
You can check us out on all our platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, now with video, our social media platforms, Instagram at No Hangover Podcast, and TikTok _hangover. Enjoy.
And we're back.
Hello.
Question for you boys.
Answer for you, sir.
Before we go in,
Want to introduce yourselves, I guess?
Eric over here.
All right.
And Jacob over there.
Right here. How you doing?
Dennis
I'm here,
back there.
back here.
The conscious is
Not
here.
as far back as you guys may think, but
They don't really even have an idea.
He could be 30 feet away. He could be 50 feet away.
and we'll leave it there.
Boom.
He could be 5 feet
All
away.
right.
Shh.
Anyways, do you guys think you'd ever live in another country?
Forever? Permanently? Make them a permanent
yeah,
residence?
Yeah, for example, like if you ever were to move out of America, I'm not saying like a different state, like just fully out of the country. If you ever were to move out of America, would you live in or what country would you
Yes, I
live
would
in?
be living in.
Yes, I know.
So you're saying, would we do it, A,
And-
and B, where
What?
would we do it?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you think you'd? I don't know. I mean,
as an only as a one language speaking person, it's you're more limited on what other countries you can go to. I mean, most countries do speak English. They teach it in school,
yeah.
but there is a language barrier
For sure.
no matter what. So I would feel more comfortable if I learned another language.
Yeah, I mean,
But as of now,
pick
I
that up.
mean, Canada seems cool.
That's
Cana-
pretty close too.
Canadian, eh?
More like I'm so Americanized. Like I'm so a part of the American
I
culture.
mean, you're American. We all are. So I mean, it's
No, but I mean, like that's all I've ever known, and I don't have family members that come from anything else. Like they're
Yeah.
only American. Their only background is living in this country.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I feel like that's just a really big adjustment. I've never really thought about that, honestly. I would think because it's like to go visit other countries is fun and it's
I've
cool,
also never
but
visited.
yeah, I've visited other countries and I've been out of the country my fair share. So I mean, it's cool to visit, but like I feel like once you get into the daily ins and outs of life, like everyone's dealing with some type of issues or some type of problems. It's not like I feel like people make it seem like moving into a different country, like there's just no problems anymore. And like, they make it sound a little too like,
I mean, the greatest
utopia.
The greatest
type
reference for that, the grass ain't always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, I asked this question kind of with like,
not to say that, hey, go move to a different country if you want, I'm sure. But again, it just comes with a lot. I've never really thought about like a specific like other country that it's like, I would want to move there.
Right.
yeah, I mean, I would tell people, I mean, we've all said this, to like move out of your comfort zone. If you move out of the state, that's one thing. But if you were to go out of another, out of the country, like you were saying, it's so embedded into us who we are as Americans that it would be a hell of an adjustment. Because you go to a different country, and I mean, depending on the country, it might be a foreign speaking country where you either one have to study, you got to learn it before you can really like truly live there, or two, you're struggling through your first couple months there. But I feel like if we were to move, it's kind of like, I mean, I feel like we all could adapt to our surroundings. So
For
I feel
sure.
like
Yeah.
if we were like gonna move somewhere where English wasn't the main language, we would figure out little ways to, move
We're all
around.
capable enough to do it.
Yeah,
feel
I
like
mean, it might take us some time, learning a new language, but I feel like if that's something that's presented to you all day, every day, you'll pick it up faster than,
I mean, it's fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
pretty much at that point. Yeah, it's like survival mode kicks in. You're
Yeah,
like,
like what you're saying is like you feel like you'd pick stuff up a little quicker.
yeah, I feel like definitely if I was dropped in a country and like, this is
Live.
my only fucking option
Live.
here. It's either I'm going to learn this or I'm not going to eat, so I'm going to fucking learn how to speak.
Yeah.
Gives you more of an appreciation for people that get up and move here.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I mean, we all know people that have, come up from another country and moved here, and it's
Mhm.
just like I imagine that learning curve is pretty steep.
Yeah.
I mean, your dad,
yeah,
my parents. I mean, even though Puerto Rico is very like, I mean, it's technically a part of the U.S. It is still
it's a U.S. sovereign.
Yeah, it's still a little bit of transition for them as far as language barrier and things like that.
And
But
past language, I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. The language barrier is a big one, but part of like the American culture, like it's
very,
it's a different
it's a
adjustment.
weird thing to kind of pick up on. Like
I mean, it's very braggadocious, very like
braggadocious.
in your face.
it's not
type
as
shit.
structured as I feel like a lot of other
Yeah.
places are. Like there's like societal norms and do's and don'ts in a lot of different countries, and America is like,
Fuck it, do whatever you
I
want.
mean, you can kind of
Whatever
get
you
away
want.
with a lot of stuff here.
Yeah. No, I mean, but that's kind of the arrogance of it, though. I mean, that's what.
Oh, we expect the world to adjust to America. America does
Yeah.
not adjust
Correct.
to the world.
And that's one of the sad things about us. Like, say we ever did go to a different country, that would kind of get like shut down real quick. It's like,
we're not equipped
Yeah,
to do this.
It's like, no, you better learn because we're not, changing for you. So I feel like that'd be pretty cool. If you had to pick any country, though,
At this moment, the best one for me would be English. I would have to say Canada.
Canada?
I don't know.
Just being realistic, I think the landscape of like New Zealand is beautiful. Well, I mean, they speak English, so I mean,
Yeah,
whatever.
I would think like I would
Maybe all right. I changed my answer.
Australia.
I changed my answer to the continent of Australia. Maybe New Zealand, the country, but that area of the world.
That would be pretty dope. Honestly,
I was gonna say
Matt did it right.
that's on my
Yeah.
bucket list.
Matt lived
Matt
there.
lived in Australia for a year.
It's on my bucket list to visit.
Have you seen
It
like
was-
Twitter videos and like Instagram reels of New Zealand?
Yeah,
It doesn't look real. It does.
That's
not
where they
look
filmed. What's it called? Lord of the Rings.
And The
Right?
Hobbit. Yeah,
it's a beautiful place.
that's how that place actually looks. Like those green rolling hills and houses built into the hills.
It's a beautiful place until you see one of them spiders.
Yeah, I understand that the critters there are a little bit larger.
It's fucking
Not for me.
larger. It's a fucking
It's
small
not for
house
me.
cat.
But like, if you ever talk to people not from Florida, they talk about alligators
True.
and snakes the
Nah,
same way.
yeah,
And
That's
Yeah,
true.
like they ran around rampant, which they do, but it's not like every day you're seeing like an
Yeah.
alligator cross the
People
street.
are
or
thinking
it's
something.
not life or death.
Yeah, people are thinking we're seeing legit like 13, 14-foot alligators just crossing our normal streets. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's
You'll,
not like
you'll
that.
see them on the news. Like,
I'm like, it's happened.
And even then on the news, you're like, holy shit.
you're
Like,
still, it's
Yeah.
wow, that's big.
yeah, you're like, damn, fucking dinosaur. But you're not
They really are.
the only ones left. Maybe. You never know.
Sharks, ocean.
No, I'm just saying we haven't been to, there's people who still have not, seen every part of the world.
Oh
God
yeah,
only knows what's truly out there.
Yeah, we don't know if the last animals are gone. But
Yeah, that'd be so
side
scary.
tangent.
Whole different topic.
cracking.
Whole different topic for another day. What about you? What country would you live in?
I
if you had
don't
to
know.
go somewhere?
I guess.
Come to New Zealand, bro.
I mean, I would.
They're just like, don't
I
leave
don't know.
me.
I feel like most places, like again, like it's about adapting, and once you're around a certain type of culture for a amount of time, then you're gonna start picking up on, how they do things, how they talk, language, certain customs and things like that. It's just a matter of how willing are you to adapt. So I mean, like, I don't know. I would go pretty much anywhere that's like not too like third world, essentially, just
Yeah.
because like I'm kind of bougie.
Yeah.
I like AC and shit.
I
Like,
feel it.
That is like this might be really like just uncultured and just that is the impression you get living in America when America talks about other countries is like,
But
oh,
everything's
you don't
third
want
world.
to go there. Like
no, I mean,
they have it so bad.
no, I mean, I know there's like we're not like as far as amenities and shit, but like most other countries that I've been to, like Spain, I lived in Italy for a little bit. I've been to Mexico, like places like that. Like it's not like I wouldn't mind living there. I'm accustomed to a certain way of living, just like anybody else would.
There's no Publix there.
Yeah, so I found another grocery store. That's not the.
You gonna go without pub
It's
subs?
not the same, bro. This is how I felt when I moved to Washington. I was like, oh, I can just find another grocery store. Safeway is cool and all, but that's not
Trader
I mean, when I
Joe's.
lived in Pennsylvania,
Ugh.
there was Giant
Fucking
and
Safeway. It's not
where
like
was there?
Publix.
Wise. Wise is pretty nice, but I
And
was
you don't
more
have
of a-
Wawa there. You have Sheets.
Sheets is much better than Wawa in my opinion. So,
Interesting.
but I don't know.
They do have
Wherever.
Jack in the
I guess
Box,
drop
though.
me wherever. I'll live
Jack in the
wherever.
Box is fucking
Drop me out of a plane. I'll
figure it
I'll
out.
parachute somewhere. Yeah, I'm kind of on like Eric's vibe. I don't
But
really.
even like some places in Asia, I feel like would be cool to live.
Yeah, I feel like
Japan looks so cool. I
Yeah.
mean, it's New York City. It's just
Yeah.
the eastern.
on fucking crack. I
South
feel like
Korea.
I feel like Japan is probably crazy, like absolutely just.
But
wild.
think about how they look at New York City. Like,
I mean, I get that, but like the density of that country, I feel like it's New York City on crack. There's a lot more people in Japan than in New York. At least I think this. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe you should
I
fact
think
check
New
me on
York
that.
is what, like 8 million, 8 something.
we'll get a fact check. On
Yeah,
There you
think
go.
about Japan is like everybody's there.
Everyone. is
It's
there.
not everyone lives in
Although
Japan.
Everyone
in the
lives
whole
right
world-
there.
Everyone in Japan does
In the
not live in
same city.
Tokyo.
I know. I'm just saying. It just feels like a fucking. There's people everywhere.
13.96 million in Tokyo.
I don't know. People that know, I know
Damn.
people that have gone to Taiwan that have loved it. And it so I mean, I don't know. The Philippines.
8.38 in New York. So $5 million or 5 million people difference. What's
Wow.
the size though?
It's a lot of fucking people.
New York size is 302 miles. Tokyo is. Sorry, this is 847, so it's over twice as big.
Okay.
So that's why they.
So at least it can cover.
So New York is technically more dense than Tokyo.
Either way, a lot of people.
There you go.
A lot of people.
I'm like a chameleon. I'll adapt anywhere.
Yeah, but I felt the same. I could literally live. I mean, it would take me a while to like learn a language, of course.
I mean, we've seen Tokyo Drift. He was able to adapt. So if he can, we can.
Because that's real.
Fucking stop it. Get out of
If
town.
he can, I feel like I have enough faith in us.
If a fictional character can make it out of a movie,
If he could do it, I
I
could do
can
it.
live
Hey.
there. All
I
right.
got faith in us. There you go.
I mean, yeah. Feel like I can make it anywhere, I guess.
That's the mindset you gotta have.
Going off of my questions about where we would all live and if we did want to live in a different country, get into this topic, I guess. We'll talk about the collapse of America.
Damn.
Is America collapsing?
Might seem like it.
Yeah,
Does
I mean,
feel like it sometimes.
from the inside, I mean,
This is all
We
about
all-
perspective.
yeah, we all have it still, our normal lives haven't really been affected in a lot of ways. So there's a little bias in that.
I feel like America was in a worse spot during the Civil War.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean they were
I
fighting
mean-
amongst themselves. So
Yeah, you
I mean, we
you had
fight
to kill your
amongst
uncles.
ourselves, but little.
Yeah, they were-
not to
Yeah.
that extreme.
not to
Not
the
the
point
same.
of war.
And not with muskets. That'd be a fucked up way to go.
Muskets.
Yeah, that's what they were shooting. It's not like they
It's
had like
100 years after the Revolutionary War.
It does okay. They act like the guns were that much better by then.
They had
were still
handguns.
yeah, but it was still black powder handguns. I feel like black powder anything would suck.
It's just muskets.
I don't know. I feel like
I
the
just-
weapons
that was
today
the
are a lot
rifle.
more.
They're just rip through you
advanced.
quicker. Is what I'm saying. Imagine getting hit with one of those. It's just like a
It
big
doesn't
dull
put you out of
fucking.
your misery.
Yeah, it's just fucking you up, and you're lying there waiting to die.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather get fucking instantly killed than sitting there waiting. Like, please, someone just come
Just
stab
laying
me.
out on the battlefield.
I guess that's a fair point.
That's
Plus
my
the
that's my
medicine. The
only-
medicine wasn't really all that great either.
No, you're
A
waiting
little
for someone.
scratch on the finger.
You're
that's
waiting,
your whole
yeah.
hand
You're
gone.
waiting for someone to come, like tie your legs, tourniquet you, so they could saw your leg off. Like fuck that.
Bro, oh my
Fuck
god.
that.
Yeah, no
that
thanks.
was some different times.
Yeah, Civil War. Poor,
Literally different times.
poor peeps. Poor peeps. Feel for them. But, anyways, back to this topic of, I feel like America might have certain things that are bad in it, but
Mhm.
for us personally, we're not going to feel that in a sense until something happens.
So
to
what
us.
would drive you to move to another country then?
me personally?
Like from that, things are getting bad in America to the point where you feel like, all right, I gotta dip, I gotta go.
The
I
only
gotta get
way,
my
the only
family
way I
out
would
here.
ever leave America like that, like be forced to at least move, I feel like it's if the government were to like come in and basically try to give us like mandate, like you have to be in your house by this time, or you have to shop here, or this is what you're wearing, shit like that.
Don't you think if it got to that point though, by that time they would already have a lock on like, hey, you can't leave the country unless
Probably
you have
so.
like special permission by us. So
Yeah, but I would find a way to flee. If it was that bad, like I'm saying, if it was like really like that crazy, yeah, I would attempt to flee. Basically, who knows if I make it? But in my mind, I feel like I could do fucking anything. So I think I could do it.
Well,
Am I wrong? Maybe. Do I die trying? Who knows? But I'll at least attempt it.
fair enough.
But going off of that, and you're gonna have to pull up these statistics for me.
yes.
Again, we want to give our condolences to all these shootings that have been going on lately.
Yes.
First one being in Buffalo.
Not the first one, but
Well,
the
not the first one, but as
latest,
recently.
one of the biggest recent ones.
yeah, recently shooting in Buffalo. I believe it was was it 10 or 13?
I believe it was 13. I'm looking it up right now. Kills 10 at Buffalo supermarket in
Yeah.
a racist attack.
Yeah. So
You seen the video?
Mm-mm.
yeah,
Don't. It's
yeah,
it's tough.
It's fucked up.
I saw the one of the guy who did it to the mosque. Where was
In
that?
New
at?
Zealand,
In New Zealand, yeah.
that one's bad too.
That guy live streamed. That's the only one I've seen of. Like,
Yeah, the
those
one in
type of
Buffalo
videos.
is bad. And this kid was what, 18?
I believe so. Yeah.
I definitely think he was trained by something, because you don't get, you're not wearing tactical gloves and doing what he was doing unless he was
These
trained.
kids play Call of Duty. They're fucking
I
trained.
don't playing Call of Duty and doing what he did. That's two different things. Like we've all played Call of Duty.
True.
Have you been to a shooting range and can shoot every target like that?
No.
Yeah, shooting a gun is different.
It's a complete different thing.
I'm just saying
and
I can see
he's
where
moving.
these kids have.
It's not like this target's standing still. Like these are sadly innocent people that were running around that had lost their life because this kid wanted to do some crazy shit like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to debate this point. I'm just saying that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, when I watched the video, I was like, that seems a little sketchy to me. I feel like either somebody trained this kid beforehand or he was going somewhere to get some kind of training, because it didn't just seem like a normal, regular kid that was bullied that decided, oh, I'm going to go do this attack.
I mean, with the information that's out there, I mean, you could teach yourself anything.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the
you can, but
you can go on
I don't know,
YouTube
that was pretty
and
tactical.
figure out how to do anything. I mean, it's easy to get all the stuff. It's easy to buy all the equipment you need, guns, ammo, whatever equipment, and I mean, not too many people are going to raise an eyebrow to it.
Yeah.
You just go and buy it.
I mean,
and it might like being on certain national security things, but how many times have we seen that oh, well, there was this person getting this at Walmart at this time and no one picked up on it, or no one, so it's easy to get your hands on all this equipment, go on YouTube, go on the internet, look at training videos, all that shit, whatever, start going to shooting range, and then I mean, it's not like it's going to be an overnight thing. Most of these things have not been an overnight thing. It's been a manifestation of people feeling however they feel, and then they take the action and the liberty to do what they feel like they need to do. Yeah. Which is the fucked up part.
The thing that's another big thing in this situation that's not to be forgotten is while the acquisition of all that stuff is dangerous, and I get your point, is he's fueled by a lot of hate.
Yeah.
This was a senseless racist act by this guy. That's a lot of hate in somebody's heart to go out and kill 10 old elderly people in a supermarket.
Yep.
And then run into the one white guy there and be like, I'm sorry. The light wasn't off. He was aware of what he was doing.
Yeah.
Apologized to the white guy working there and went
right back on to doing
right back killing other innocent people.
It's fucking it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
It's one of the video is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
It was fucked up.
It's truly shocking.
Man, but the fact that
really
people, I mean, I don't know, the whole streaming and the accessibility to all things. I mean, it really does. I mean,
most of the stuff you could tell, he was. There was more to the story. I mean, the kid was clearly he's not buying these things himself. He was using his grandmother's money.
I saw that. But he stole a truck.
I mean, he stole. It was her. I believe it was his grandmother's truck. I don't think he stole a random. I mean, it could have been a random truck.
Yeah.
But
I don't know all the details.
But
that story is.
It was just fucked up.
Terrible.
Not only did he use, like I said, his grandma's money to get all this shit, the first person he killed was his grandmother, before he went to the supermarket.
Shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he killed his grandmother, takes off in this truck towards the supermarket, kills all these 10 innocent people, and apparently one of the second people he shot too was the security guard that he had met and was talking to.
You're thinking of the school shooting. That's the guy who shot it. That's the guy who shot his grandmother.
Oh, was it? Oh, shit.
Yes.
Well, I thought the 18-year-old, or this guy in Buffalo.
Did he as well?
That's what I was told. At least what I, read. I didn't know that school shooting kid did the same. It's fucked up. Poor elderly. But the school shooting, I mean, not to compare anything, equally terrible acts.
Yeah, it was from the school shooting.
School shooting, I just don't understand how, what goes wrong in these people's heads to be, you could be victimized all you want, but, how do you go attack the most innocent people? Those kids weren't the ones bullying you. If you were being bullied by any point, I'm not saying, violence is ever that answer, but if you were going to go to such an extreme, why would you go towards the most innocent people? Why not try to hurt somebody who hurt you?
These people are sick individuals.
Yeah, I mean, if
Absolutely.
you're trying to,
I'm not going to rationalize. What he did.
I was about to say, if you're trying to find logic and stuff like that, then I feel like you're kind of, you're fighting a losing fight. It's not about necessarily. I get when you're talking to those type of people, it's not necessarily trying to figure out who they're doing it to. It's why are they doing those actions?
Correct. I mean,
because
it's something there. Clearly, there's something wrong. There's no type of explaining why you would try and take a little child's life like that. When you're trying to figure out these issues, I feel like it's trying to figure out the deep rooted issue of what would drive somebody to go kill anybody in mass amounts like that. And then I feel like you would be able to try and figure out what is it that is causing that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to figure it out either way, because I mean, and another sad thing, and why we were talking about it, why I even brought up the topic of collapse of America. America is one of the only countries in the world that has mass shootings. Almost every country that's not a third world country has armies, has guns, has access to guns, and yet America being, founded on such like, oh, everyone has the right to bear arms, such like privileges to, you're free, you could do a lot of things. Yet we're the ones who basically kind of basically take our freedoms for granted, and you have people that do shit like this. And then it, brings that up to
we're trusted too much.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, but then again, the only thing, like, that argument too goes back and forth, because then when you add, people are like, oh, people shouldn't have these guns. Okay, but what's the only thing stopping a bad guy with a gun? A good guy with a gun. So it's like
the police.
You would think that, but the police can't.
With the school
the
shooting,
police
they
can't
took
do
an
everything.
hour. They took an hour to get there to respond to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, like,
and then they were outside, and since like once they responded, they were still outside. You got to figure out where this kid is. Like, at the end of the day, a cop is still got to. They rush into all of these situations, trying to protect and trying to save people, but they think in the back of their head, I'm sure, what about my family? What about my kids? What about my life?
There is a human element to it.
There is, like, there's, they're the bravest people out there doing, going into a building like that, but it's just, you got to think of what they thought about in those moments. Like,
I mean,
you saw there was one cop that his kids were at the school.
That's crazy. I didn't see that.
There was, the cop,
So
one of the first cops that responded, his kids were at the school. He ran in, got his kids, got him out before he went back to look for this actual shooter.
I mean, not too long ago, the Parkland shooting at Stoneman Douglas, like, the SRO officer was not going in. The school resource officer, he's like, I'm not. Like, he was basically hiding out. Like, somebody in there with heavy artillery. Like, if I run in there,
I'm gonna die too. That's probably what he thought.
And the back, like, that is your job.
Yeah. I mean,
that, like, as callous as that is to say, like,
no, it is. I mean, I agree. You have to understand what you're signing yourself up for.
You took this job, like,
I mean, it's part of the, when duty calls, it's part of the duty, basically.
No, for real.
It's a shitty part of that job.
A lot of it is, I mean, to your point, is the human element of it. And I know I've said this before. It's like the same thing that will make somebody do the kindest gesture, give up the shirt off their back, do the kindest things for people, is the same thing that will drive someone to do extreme in the opposite way.
Yeah.
And that's the ugly part of it, but the beautiful part of it is that that's what makes good things good and bad things bad.
I agree to a certain point. I think that there is a certain point, I know we talked about this a couple episodes ago, where it is, like, past humane. Mm-hmm. Like, that, like, what he did is not the human element. Like, he took it, like, I understand that, like, he's a human, he made that choice, so technically it falls in the spectrum of what a human is possible of doing. Mm-hmm. But that's, like, next level, like, sociopath. Like, you're a shitty human being.
I'm not arguing.
No, I'm not saying you are.
Yeah, I'm just saying that that's that same thing though, because we're people. People are making these decisions. Like I was saying in that last episode that you're referring to, it's like that primal part. Of course, it gets to a point where it's past, like, you're not doing it for primal reasons, but it's coming through that, like, kind of primal lens of, I'm going to prove a point. This is not something that if I'm in my right mind thinking I'm going to do these type of things. Everyone has that point. And again, it's different for everyone else. We all have a point where it's like, all right, stop, I'm pissed off, stop. Other people just have that point to a further extreme.
Yeah, I get you.
Where it's fucked up though, and but that comes to the question, like, well, how do you solve that? How do you figure that out? How do you minimize that so we don't get those extremes?
Yeah, I don't.
And if you do that, are you also minimizing the extreme good that we get?
I mean, a thing I don't know if you guys have seen it on the internet or not, but, like, another thing they were saying is about, how, like, the war in Ukraine, how America has given, plenty of money and efforts to help the Ukraine. Mm-hmm. People were, who knows who it was, if it was, like, a mathematician or whatever the case, but people were breaking down, like, the amount of money that was sent to the Ukraine. It basically was, when they broke down the number and the salaries of the SWAT team, that it could basically you could hire 5 SWAT team members for every school in America with the same money that was sent to the Ukraine. Granted,
That's a country.
I know this.
No, I'm saying like we're sending money to a country
Yeah, I know.
for everybody, not just children.
Correct. I'm saying that I'm just giving y'all what I saw.
Yeah,
I'm not saying-
it's a crazy stat.
Yeah, it's
for
a crazy
real.
statistic that like you could put, and I feel like probably here, shortly here, they probably will put something like that in place where if not maybe a team, at least, 1 or 2 officers will be patrolling schools, or they'll make it more like, there's some private schools. They only have a certain code, and each kid is given an individual code, and like that's the only way they can get into the premises, and like there's no adults allowed on the premises, shit like that. So I mean,
That'll help.
maybe it'll go certain something like that. I mean, there's still going to be instances where, sadly, that you would think, oh, that might help, but then who knows? This could happen again in a couple of years. Like that's the shitty part of
the trend that's been
what
going.
what we've lived through in our lives. Think about how many school shootings have you lived through in your life?
Way too many.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
And we're only
of
and
the
we're
big
only-
ones, where there's a lot
I could think of like at least 4 or 5
of the big ones.
Yeah, and we're and this is a small number. These are the ones that are getting nationally, because there happen to be.
I mean,
I
it's
saw
a
this-
newer thing that's been happening too. It's not like
it is, but
it's a more
but it
past like the past 30 years type thing. It's not something that it's a newer thing as far as like tragedies and things like that. Not that it's happening more now. Like it's just
I mean,
like
you see it more.
the first big one that we all when we were in
Columbine.
school learning was Columbine.
Yeah.
And then it would happen kind of with bigger gaps in between. Now we're just seeing the gap of time close smaller. But I mean, before the Columbine one, how often was school shootings getting mass publicity like that? It just wasn't as common as it is now.
There's a statistic I saw. I have it right in front of me. From January 2009 through May 2018, there have been 19 countries with school shootings. United States is first with 288 of them in that 9-year time span. So since 2018, not even counting, I think that's like Parkland was after that as well or something like that. No, it was around there. But the second leading country has 8.
So we have 280 more
school shootings
in 9 years. This isn't a 30-year thing. We're talking about it in just 9 years.
Like that's crazy.
It's a fucked up statistic. But that's why I'm saying, like, it gets to a certain point where, yeah, it's not necessarily the Civil War where we're fighting each other, but there is going to be some sort of collapse in, if Americans don't feel protected, they're in their own homes, in their own schools, that's part of, like, a losing battle. I feel like if this shit keeps happening, people are going to start feeling those ways.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of feel like with everything else on top of that, with the food shortages, the inflations, prices going up with everything, cost of living, food, gas, like it does kind of seem like it's a good mixture for some like real shit to go down and like people really. And I mean, the last time we were having this conversation was around COVID, election time, all the political divide. We were having these same type of conversations of shit like we don't think it is, but Civil War talk is kind of coming up a little bit.
It's been brewing.
So like it
at least
is kind
a year
of
and some change now.
Yeah, I mean it's
Well,
like I
even
said. I
more
mean
than
to
that, the
COVID, how
election year.
COVID stuck 2 years now.
Yeah, like 2019, around the end of 2019, it was like, I feel like that Civil War talk was getting real big because, like, you had the supporters of Biden and Trump going back and forth.
I mean, it was the political stuff, the,
black-
racial stuff,
yeah.
the
Black Lives
the
Matter
COVID,
movement.
the
There was a
COVID
lot of
lockdown
things.
didn't help. Like, I mean, it was a lot of things. But again, it seems like we're getting back to that point where it seems like there's a lot of like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're gonna throw this on top of you guys. Like, it's kind of getting hard out here for people, and people start again thinking more fight or flight mode, and this, it takes one thing to set something off.
I mean, with like you said as well, with inflation going as what it is, and I mean
gas prices
are higher. I mean, it's just also like another thing. For instance, they pumped, what is it, Treasury? Is that the word I'm looking for?
The Treasury is a
prints
thing.
the money.
It is, yeah.
To print
They
the money,
had
correct?
The
The
U.S.
Treasury?
Mint, yes.
The U.S. Mint. Okay, there we go.
No, I'm saying U.S. Mint is
the Treasury
actual
is
money.
all, yeah. The
the
Treasury
players,
is the
the
people who
players.
take care of the
Treasury.
money.
Okay, got it. Fuck. The Treasury printed all this money. I think it was $800 trillion they printed.
Uh-huh.
They printed. that they printed, and all Americans, we got what, $1,400 stimulus. It's cool and all, but since them printing all this money,
it was not cool.
Yeah, that all they did was, we gave you all this money, that we divided amongst yourselves. Now we gave all the rest to all the rich people, So for instance, now Americans, you're all gonna pay this back.
Yeah. It was on credit essentially.
Basically, so now everything is way up in price for us, and we're all like, oh shit, this is all expensive. This fucking sucks. Cost of living is going up. Everything, rent is going up. Everything's going up. But what we're making isn't going up.
Yeah.
The shit we having to do, jobs like that, a lot of shit's staying the same. Granted, I don't think it's gonna be necessarily as bad as like
I don't think
a
it's gonna
depression.
be like this forever, but it definitely puts a fucking damper on things. And
Inflation can lead to a little bit of a recession, but I don't think we'll get as bad as into a depression again, just because they're with
1930s. 1929 was the collapse.
It's not gonna be as bad as that, and with people even spending all this type of money, you got people coming from different states, and there's different markets that are actually booming. Yeah. When that happened, stocks were booming for a while because everything dropped with COVID. Yeah. So people were buying those up. People made a lot of money that way.
It's the ebbs and flows of the economy and shit. But it is, but like I said, it is stuff that people are, gas prices are going up to an all-time high. The cost of rent is it's at different levels, but on that same token, it's a lot easier to make money nowadays too.
This is true, but we also do live in one of the most expensive the new most expensive areas to live in.
Affordable. As far as the minimum wage, if you're making
the gaps between.
Yeah, but like I said, it's a lot easier to make money nowadays.
We choose to live in the O.
I guess.
Good old Orlando.
Yep. But it's up there. Now with freaking Miami, LA, New York, it's getting up there into those levels, which we're not a city that should be with those levels because we're not that type of city, but just our gaps.
Is it getting up to Miami, LA cost of living levels?
It's one of those just because of our minimum wage versus what an average that because it's not like the actual money. It's not the same. Yeah. You're not spending $1 million for a penthouse here, but I'm just saying the levels of where the money is. It's getting to those levels. So it people from other states or other countries are at the shit seeing this and they're flocking into Florida.
Yeah.
Because they're like, they had all these freedoms when it came to COVID. That was a big reason a lot of people came. And then they started buying up all these houses. And we have not even just, people from New York and other parts of the country, but a lot of foreign investors. A lot of people coming from different countries. A lot of Chinese people, a lot of Asian, same shit. But a lot of Europeans, a lot of fucking French, a lot of all these different countries coming here are like, oh, we're going to just buy up everything because it's so cheap. But it's causing all of our prices to go higher. Kind of getting fucked on that. We can't do nothing about that. It's just part of living.
It does suck though.
It does because we feel the repercussions of these people buying shit up because we're like, oh, well, now for instance, you can just drive by Castleberry, shitty parts of Castleberry. These houses now are
LBC.
Going. These houses are going for fucking $290,000.
Yeah, that shit is wild.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
That are not worth that type of money.
The low budget Castleberry.
It's not worth that type of money.
Ridiculous.
What was that house that you were talking about in your mom's neighborhood that you said was selling for I don't even know, $300,000-400,000?
Oh, it was
only a 2-bedroom, 2-bath type shit. It was a small little house. It's a nice looking house, but
should not 400.
In my mom's neighborhood.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a small house like that in my mom's neighborhood.
I don't know. If you told me there was a house,
if it was in the front of the neighborhood,
yeah,
it was crazy expensive, but it would have been at least a 3.2, if not a 4.2, but it was probably $450,000 to $500,000.
That makes a little bit more sense then.
But even that, fucking crazy expensive.
Yeah,
for the area. it's a nice house, but still crazy expensive.
Apartment rent was really.
But what was crazier to me is by Wurz Park area and down that way and getting towards down Winter Park Drive and closer to South Seminole, shit like that, where it's not necessarily as big of houses. Those are 3.2s.
Yeah.
A lot less square footage. Those houses were going for fucking $190,000 to $290,000, and they are not worth that. They never will be worth that. But yeah, that's what they're
putting his realtor hat on.
Whatever worth that somebody's willing to pay.
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. But shit, I'm gonna make money either way from this because since I do remodels, by all means, buy a shitty house. You're gonna have to remodel it. But it's just like
Call us up.
Yeah. plug in Orlando Tile real quick.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't do discounts, by the way, so don't be calling on that bullshit.
Moving on.
Yeah,
Anyways,
you're not gonna help out with the inflation.
You're the problem.
hey, these prices
Big
raised.
corporations
These,
like you.
these prices raised for everyone. You think I get these materials for cheaper? You're damn wrong.
Shit, ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's a part of life. You want high quality products, or do you want shit? You decide.
That's what America's telling us.
No, America is giving us shit and telling us it's high quality. That is my issue.
Who are you to judge?
Oops. Good old ice. All right, what you got next? Is that it? Is that all we got?
I mean, unless y'all got some other interesting things you want to talk about.
Happy Memorial Day. Thanks for all the
Yes.
fallen vets. Help us secure our freedoms that we
Also,
have here.
thank you to the vets that have not fallen as well.
That too. But I thought Memorial Day was just for the
It's
ones.
in memoriam.
Oh.
Like it is for the ones that
It
have
is for the
passed.
ones that have fallen.
Regardless,
But you got to
salute
thank,
you guys.
yeah, salute all the troops.
For sure.
Without y'all, we wouldn't have these freedoms to
We
talk.
wouldn't be able to talk on the mics like we do.
Yep.
Give our opinions and all that good stuff.
Some, you know, maybe y'all agree with. Some you might not. Sorry for that. But
I'm not too sorry for it. It
Nope.
is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything too.
I tried to be nice. I tried to be light with it.
Dennis, anything else?
No,
Anything
I think
you
that's
got?
it.
All right, more so than ever. Everybody love everybody.
For real.
Say it to your mom, your dad, your sisters, cousins, brothers, friends, everybody. Love you guys. Everyone that's in here. And if you're not in here, I still love you.
I love all the
Wow.
3 people in the room.
Yep. Just us three.
All right, see y'all next
Great
week.
time.
Peace.